What's up everybody, Jesse here, or Game Over Jesse as some of you all may know me, and today we have some interesting news coming from PlayStation regarding the Nintendo Switch. Now, a few weeks ago there was a big rumor going around that a lot of people were expecting and actually believing that PlayStation was once again going to make a new handheld device in response to the massive success that the Nintendo Switch has been. And it kind of just makes sense. If we go back and look at the PlayStation Vita, there was, on the original first model that was released at the very bottom, similar to where this USB-C charging plug is on the Nintendo Switch, in that same spot on the PlayStation Vita, there was actually a way for developers to plug their Vita into a monitor and play games on the larger screen. Eventually, PlayStation took this and actually made the PlayStation TV, which was basically just a docked version of the PlayStation Vita that you couldn't take on the go. Instead of having the screen on it with the controller, you had to use a PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 4 controller, and you had to play it on your TV. So they had a similar idea to that of what Nintendo had with the Nintendo Switch, to where you had a handheld console that you could also play on the TV. They just didn't have the best way of going about it because fans weren't actually able to use that feature until they bought the PS TV. Now there's remote play to where you can play your PS4 on the TV, on your cell phone, on a PlayStation Vita, even on your laptop or computer. So they're experimenting with this dual platform hybrid approach to where you can play a game on the go as long as you have Wi-Fi. So them taking and seeing what Nintendo's done, taking that idea like they did with the motion control idea that Nintendo had, and creating their own version with PlayStation Move. If they came out with a third PlayStation portable handheld, I think it would honestly be great. But I'll get a little bit more on that in just a bit. First, I want to ask you to please subscribe, help us reach that goal of 50,000 subscribers. And now let's get to our article from Go Nintendo, which gives some of their thoughts on the Nintendo Switch. The headline reads, Sony CEO talks Switch being a hybrid device, not seeing that approach as a big opportunity. Sony sales are not impacted. The actual article says, coming from Sony Corp's gaming chief Andrew House, the Nintendo device, Switch in quotes, is a hybrid device that's a different approach and strategy. We have not seen that as being a huge market opportunity. The Vita experience was that outside of Japan and Asia, there was not a huge demand. The lifestyle shift towards the dominance of smartphones as the single key device that is always with you was the determining factor. House went on to say that Sony hasn't seen any signs of the Switch having an impact on their sales of games or hardware. He says, that draws me to the conclusion that they've really been additive to the business in the last year or so. The folks at Nintendo have their strategy, and that's great. We remain focused around a highly connected gaming experience, and also coupled with having a great range of other entertainment experiences, so you can reach multiple people on the big screen and the household. Now, my thoughts on this is clearly, yes, it would suck for Nintendo if there was a competing device. Suddenly, people who want a large gaming experience on the go would have to choose between Sony or Nintendo. But in the long run, for the fans at least, this would actually mean there would be more games to play on the Nintendo Switch, assuming that's where you're going to buy your games if there is a competing handheld. Because if we look at EA or some other third-party studios who may not be 100% sure that they want to commit to creating a game for the Nintendo Switch, suddenly if there are two handhelds that are equally as powerful that wouldn't take a lot of optimization between the two, suddenly they potentially have twice as many handhelds they could sell these games on, which means there's less of a risk of a game not selling that well. So when a company like EA is like, well, it's just Nintendo, we don't want to make the risk. But let me know what your guys' thoughts on this. Would you want a PlayStation handheld device? Would you want it to be something completely new, or would you want it to be akin to a PS4 Go, which, just as the PlayStation 4 Pro can upscale certain games to 4K or almost to 4K? This would render the games in just basic 720p. But let me know what your all's thoughts are on this. Would you want a PlayStation 4 Go or some sort of PlayStation handheld that would be competing against the Nintendo Switch? Would you buy it if you already have a Switch? Or would you prefer it over the Nintendo Switch? I'm not saying that's going to happen. It's just fun to talk about. So again, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, and please subscribe if you haven't already. If you enjoy the videos on my channel, please consider subscribing, checking out my second channel focusing on movies and TV shows, and my Patreon where you can join in as a guest in upcoming videos, watch new videos first, you can have me join in and collaborate on videos for your own channel, have custom artwork or custom avatars made of yourself or for your channel, and much more.